First, about the video and how important that piece of evidence is. And to me, if you know this person, I would think you would be able to recognize them from that video.
Yeah, I agree with you. I have looked at it several times now, and just the kind of the gait and the mannerisms and the body shape and height and size of the person. There's not much with the individual face characteristics, but a lot of what we recognize about someone is sort of their overall package. So I would think if someone had been on that bridge and seen that person and knew them, that they would be able to recognize them from that video.
And Delphi is such a smaller community that people in that area, I'm sure everyone there has seen the video. So I've got to think if someone recognized them, it's a matter of having the courage to make that call and call in that tip. What are your thoughts about the augmented reality, the way they're using technology to create another way to return to that scene?
Well, I think it's an interesting new, it's just sort of a new concept. And I think that it could have a lot of potential. I mean, in this case, you have a pretty good video taken by Libby herself, which shows the bridge, shows the perpetrator. It's very good. So I don't know in this particular case how much more the augmented reality will help here. But honestly, at this point, absolutely anything that anyone can do that might jog the memory of someone would be absolutely worth it.
Now, there's been another development in Indiana, and a lot of people have been talking about it, and it's the arrest of this man. Let's put his mugshot up on the screen. His name is James Chadwell, okay? This made a lot of headlines, and there was a lot of chatter, a lot of talk when he was arrested. And the reason being is that a lot of people believed when they saw this mugshot that it resembled the sketch that was released of the person involved here. And that's the sketch on the left. You see the sketch on the left, and you can see why people would think, oh, it looks like a match. But the sketch on the left is from 2017, and there's a sketch on the right from 2019. And investigators right now are saying that sketch on the left, that's no good anymore. Don't even consider that one. Consider the one on the right as being someone that they're looking for. Now, the reason that they're talking about Chadwell is what happened or allegedly happened at his home. And we have video of his home. And the allegations are that inside Chadwell's home, a kidnapped girl was locked in his basement. And this is just 24 minutes away from where these two young girls lost their lives, Abby and Libby. So the allegations against Chadwell are that he kept the girl locked in his basement of his home. Here are the charges that he's facing: attempted murder, child molestation, attempted child molestation, kidnapping, criminal confinement, battery, and strangulation. So someone's arrested for things like that, 24 minutes away. They look at the face, they say, oh, it looks kind of like one of the sketches we saw. You can see how people would want to put this all together, and obviously investigators are going to look at it. From your perspective, Jennifer Shen, how can you connect him? And I'm not saying he is connected, but what are the things you would look at to attempt to connect him forensically to the scene of the murder, to what happened to Abby and Libby?
That's a great question. There'd be a couple ways you would do that. First of all, the obvious one would be the forensic evidence. If there was any forensic evidence at the crime scene that you can compare directly back to this person or this person's home. But the other thing here, because they didn't release a lot of information about the crime scene, there wasn't a lot of information about how the girls died, what was potentially done to them. And that, the investigators kept that very close to the vest. So they know what was at the crime scene, the original crime scene, and they know what they've seen at this new scene. And so they are aware of what could be similarities in how this person operated, what his MO, so to speak, may or may not have been. And so I'm sure they're looking at similarities in the actions of the suspect at the two different scenes as part of trying to decide whether this person is or is not connected to the original crime.
So are you confident that if this man was responsible, again, not saying he is, but if he or anyone else that they got into custody was a suspect in this case, that they would have a fairly good chance of connecting him to the murder? Or would there be challenges? The bodies found a day after they disappeared.
I think there would be a good chance. I mean, I know the investigators in these cases are doing absolutely everything they can. They're pulling out all the stops forensically and investigatively. So there is going to be quite a bit of evidence that can then be utilized to decide if this person was connected to both scenes or not. So if they wind up arresting the perpetrator of the original crime, there is going to be evidence that will connect the bodies to this person. And I believe that very strongly because of the sort of the nature of the crime scene and sort of it appears to be kind of a crime of opportunity, not necessarily really well planned out. It's very difficult to commit such a violent crime as killing two girls without leaving any evidence of any kind. So I believe that there would be evidence and that they could make that case, but I guess that remains to be seen.